Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope you are able to hear me on our webinar today. An exciting few minutes we're going to spend together with you on IBM Watson Analytics. And so we're glad to have everyone who's been able to join us on this webinar today. And we look forward to walking you through this exciting new capability within the world of cognitive and predictive analytics. So there's a couple of things from the title of the webinar that you signed up for us today. You will recall that there, and we'll talk about this as we go forward, that IBM has a special offer of being able to leverage Watson Analytics for free. And there's a lot of exciting things to do with that we're going to show you today. But in addition to that, also some assistance that we're able to provide our customers so that you're leveraging real value from Watson Analytics. And so that's what we're going to kind of walk through today. Your hosts on the webinar today, myself, Ian Margerison. We have Bob Gill. We're pleased to have Bob with us, who will be walking us through a live demo of Watson Analytics, and Susan Malik, President of Clear Insight, who will be helping us with the polls, and of course as we go through Q&A as well. We will have Q&A time at the end, so please look on your GoToMeeting there, and within the chat window, please direct any questions you have as we're going through this, and we will be sure to address the questions in the Q&A at the end. And depending on how we navigate through it, if there's an opportunity to jump on some of the questions midway through, we will do that as well. So we're just going to do a little introduction together. Then we are going to have a couple of little audience polls, which we like to do for your own insight and for our insight around the audience that we have, and it helps redirect our agenda as we go along with this webinar as well. Then we're going to give you an overview of Watson Analytics and just kind of talk about that from the slides. And then at that point, I'll be turning it over to Bob for a live demo and to look at a couple of case studies. And then we're going to go into the home stretch there. We're going to talk about the different Watson Analytic editions, the opportunity for the Kickstart package for you, and then any next steps in our Q&A. Now, we've got it stretched out for an hour there. I'm not sure we will need the hour, ever the optimist, but we will see how we do. We may finish up a little early and give you a bit of time at the end, but we'll see how we do today. All right, so I know there's a number on the webinar with us today who are existing clients of Clear Insight, and a number of new folks who have joined, some names I haven't seen before, given the good number that are on here. And so just a quick little introduction of who we are, Clear Insight. We are advanced IBM business partners, and we specialize in the areas of business analytics. We support the Office of Finance to a large degree with financial performance, budgeting, planning, and forecasting solutions there. That's bubble number 1 that you're looking at. We support the businesses overall with business intelligence capabilities through the Cognos Business Intelligence Solutions. We also support financial reporting and disclosure management. And really the area we're talking about today, point number 4 there, is the predictive and cognitive analytics capabilities. Obviously, as we'll see, blends in with the other areas, but that's kind of our focus today with Watson. And then governance and risk compliance is the other areas that we cover. And it's all about providing time, confidence, and control to leaders in the organization through leveraging the best of insights and solutions to help drive ultimately better outcomes in your business. And that will be a bit of a tone and a theme through this webinar, better outcomes. And this is really where the power of Watson and other predictive solutions can play into your business and teach you insights of your data that you otherwise would not have known and or would have taken literally days and weeks to do with data scientists. And here now with the onset of Watson Analytics, you're able to delve into your data and get better outcomes from end users and business analysts, and each of you that are on the call with us today. We work with customers across North America. Just a little snapshot of some of our clients across a number of industries that we're very excited and thankful to be able to work with these customers and meet their needs. When we work with our customers, our objective is to deliver to their needs, and so we have a very pleased group of customers that we have, and they're all happy to attest to the value that Clear Insight brings to the business, not only in our technical expertise, but we pride ourselves in our business expertise. It has to start with what are your business challenges and your business needs, and then how can we leverage solutions to make life better for you. And Watson, of course, falls into that area as well. So our first little poll that we would like to bring up for you today that's going to help us understand who we have with us is, what is the status of advanced cognitive predictive analytics at your company? So pick the thing that best matches, and Susan, you can open this up. Do you have no experience at all yet with this type of analytics? Are you just curious? Do you have no experience yet, but you actually have plans to work on it this year? Or have you progressed and you've done some test projects and it's an area that's growing in your business? Or lastly, is this something that is already a key component in your regular business analytics? So if you could make a choice there, and leave a 10 seconds more there for others to answer. If you're not sure, do your best guess on that. All right, that's great. Susan, if you want to close that up, you should all be able to see the poll there. And that's quite a good mix there for our webinar, and something that I would have expected to see. 2/3 of you are definitely interested, but have not experienced it yet. And this is the exciting thing about Watson, is it gives you a very low cost, to have free, in some cases, alternative to get into this area, see what it can do for your business. Some of you are actually planning on working on it this year, and so we're glad to hear that. And so we hope this webinar helps kickstart some thought processes for you. Okay, our next little poll, and one more poll here before we move into a bit more of an overview on Watson. Well, actually, this is kind of simple. Susan, you can open this up. I would expect, given our answers to number 1, is that probably everybody's on 4. And there we have it. Not quite yet. If folks can just click in there. Okay, go ahead, Susan. So you haven't used any of these solutions yet. So that is great to hear. We will be showing you later in the webinar how you can sign up for Watson, how you can start to experiment with it and use it. So I would like to think that in the next couple of weeks, if we ran this poll again, we'd have the majority of you being able to answer number 1 for this. So very good. We'll move along here, and we'll begin to introduce Watson to you and what this new world has for us. So no new news to everybody on our webinar today. Technology has changed our world and changed the way we do things. And even in the last 5 years, how much things have changed since we first got smartphones, and now our work and our personal lives are blurred. We're always on, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. And we all have to try and control that in our world. But we've moved more and more to a do-it-yourself mentality. And this falls into play here when we talk about Watson and predictive analytics. The whole area of artificial intelligence. I've, in past lives and in my corporate world, years gone by, we worked with artificial intelligence solutions and began to do things as I worked in the consumer packaged goods industry. And it was bleeding edge, and it was very complex data scientist type of work that had to be done, and by no means was it a do-it-yourself type mentality. And so you would have heard of cognitive, you would have heard of artificial intelligence capabilities. What Watson does for us now is it takes all of what that was and brings that into a do-it-yourself capability where you have at your fingertips the ability to have your data mined and get insights on your data through an artificial intelligence type solution that you otherwise never had before. So this is what it's beginning to open up for us that you can expect to do. Many of you may have tried to do some of these things as you worked with analytics. Now, the first little bubble here is saying 38% of folks have a limited understanding of how to use analytics. So the good news is there 60% of the people have some analytics capability in doing analytics, and so that would be the majority of people on the call, I'm sure. And if you aren't there, well, that's the other area of our business, and we'd love to help you with general analytics. But when we're talking about this quote-unquote area of analytics, we're not talking about your standard Cognos BI. We're not talking about performance management. We're talking about, we're back into the areas of to coin the term, big data. And big data doesn't always have to mean big, massive amounts of data, but what it ultimately means, and in the context of Watson now, it means that you have got your internal data sets and or third-party data sets available to you, no matter how big or small that is. But big data is about mining that data set, being able to derive insights from that data that you otherwise wouldn't have known, and using those insights to make better business decisions. And that's where Watson is going to come into play. If you've tried to do that with your data yourselves, as this little survey has said, 80% of the time is spent on data preparation. You're going to do data extracts from all your systems. You're going to be trying to assemble the data together. There's a huge job in cleaning and sorting through the data to get that right, and so there's a lot of preparation work to do. You may then send it out to a third party, or for the folks on the call, you don't have an SPSS or a SaaS type solution that you can then send that data into, but it becomes very difficult to do. And so there's obstacles to that, and again, Watson coming to bear to overcome these obstacles. Why do the desktop solutions fall short? Many of you may be using Cognos already, and that is great, and it's great for mining your data, pulling your data, making your data accessible, reviewing it, analyzing it, drilling down in the data. That's what that's all about. But in and of itself, you're looking at dashboards, you're looking at reports, and you're looking at data from a manual, personal perspective, and then interpreting within your own mind what that data is saying. When we come to predictive cognitive analytics, it's doing that analysis of that data for you and highlighting where there's relationships and where there's areas that you can look into and dive into. So not that there's anything wrong with existing analytic solutions, but they don't provide the incremental data analytics that Watson is going to do for you. If you've ever tried to do it, it involves all sorts of people. You've got your business users saying, here's what our business challenges are, and we're going to talk about some of those. You've got your IT people who are then going to pull data to try and give the data sets to look at that. You're then going to have your data scientists and statisticians to mine through that, and then ultimately your business analysts to try and give some insight on what that is. So it's a very intensive project. It's not straightforward. People are involved in it from every angle of the organization. And again, just bringing up the point that if you're trying to do this on your own, it becomes a very challenging situation. And that's really what Watson is all about. It's about helping you find out within your data set what matters most in your business, where are the issues I should be looking at, and how can I make better business decisions. So, alas, along comes Watson, and we all know Watson from Jeopardy. Of course, that's where it first made its public debut, marveled at what Watson was able to do on Jeopardy. And really, what it's about is to really accelerate our human expertise and be able to go through data and address these complex challenges associated with us. There's three key things that are unique to Watson and also the Watson analytics that we're going to look at. Natural language processing. You'll see how you'll be able to type in natural language English, what is my business challenges, generate hypothesis out of the data, and then have evidence-based learning that comes out of that. Really the important thing here then, as a capture for you, what is Watson? It's what I've highlighted here in the little blue square. Watson Analytics, as is available to you today, is a cloud-based smart data discovery tool for analytics. As we said, it's leveraging cognitive capabilities of the underlying Watson technology that was seen on Jeopardy, and really provides three key things here. Semantic recognition of the concepts in your data, that's what we've been talking about. Recommended starting points for analysis, and interaction in natural language. So what becomes your first analysis generates a new question, which then you can enter in natural language, again, subsequent questions to continue to dive deeper and deeper. And this is what Watson is going to be able to do for us. So some key points when IBM took and is bringing mainstream what was Watson from Jeopardy to us today. Watson Analytics is now available to you online. Four key things. It's a single integrated analytic experience for you. Automated business intelligence that will come out of it. The natural language that allows you to type in the questions, and guided analytic discovery. So really bringing this to mainstream and bringing this into the world of self-service with those four key things for you. Better data is a key thing, and I think Bob is going to touch on this. A key element when you first start looking at your data sets is going to be how clean is my data? Where are there outliers? And making sure that I start with better data. You all know if you've got standard business reporting solutions, the value out is only as good as the data in. And so Watson includes capabilities to help ensure you've got and are leveraging the best data you can to your business. It's then all about thinking ahead and being able to bring a story forward for better business decisions. As you work in your business, we all have questions every day. What if we did this? What if we could do that? And all of these questions, the majority of them go unanswered. Some of them become important questions that you might go into data discovery with. And in those questions, then, we get back to what we just talked about, where you can bring in teams of people and mine through the data and do a lot of work to try and get those discoveries. And it's worth it, because if you get one good thing out of that, that could dramatically change your business performance, your business quality, your client satisfaction, whatever the case may be. Sometimes this effort, all it takes is one good thing out of that. And again, here's where Watson comes into play, is it can simplify this whole process for you so that this can be done as part of your day-to-day business. So when Bob opens it up, you're going to see a single interface, allows you to explore your data, begin to get predictions off of your data, and then to assemble new insights that you can bring forward to the business. And it's all integrated into the one situation. Good for different types of users, not just for the data scientists, of course, but for primarily business users. So this is a key slide here we just wanted to touch on, and this is going to be a key point as we go forward. What can I do with Watson? And so this is just some good little examples from different areas of the business. So if I'm in marketing, clearly my challenges, and I speak to many customers like this, how can I make my marketing efforts more efficient? If I'm a bank, if I'm a law firm, if I'm a whatever it is, how can I reach out to the right set of prospective clients or existing set of clients and promote the right products to them? Watson can help answer those questions. Sales. I have customer retention issues. How do I, what is information in my data that can help me understand how to retain my customers longer? Finance. We always want to keep our AR short, and there might be ways and insights in my data that Watson can uncover to help me improve on that. Highlight and aggregate the type of customers that are my biggest problems for AR, and maybe there's a unique insight I never knew before that I can change the way I do my billing, etc., to improve my accounts receivable. Help desk analysis. Operations in warranty analysis, a great example on where I need to be adjusting things and how to maximize warranty work that we have to do for our customers. HR, always a very expensive proposition. How do I hire the right people? How can I understand, is there any cross-variable elements across my existing staff that Watson can uncover to say, you know what, here's these unique elements of these people that make them the best employees for you. And that's just a couple of examples. And one of the key things as you start to embark on Watson will be, what are my business challenges? What are some key business challenges that I want to work on and that I can leverage Watson for, that I'm able to feed appropriate data for to help change my business? And just I'll take a minute out here right now and say, that's what this is all about. You can sign up for Watson, you can get the free IBM Watson thing, and you can start playing around with it. But at the end of the day, it's not until you sit down and with a little bit of help figure out the best way to integrate it into your business that you can start to improve your business with it. And really where we're stepping in with our customers, it's about helping you change your position on this opportunity with Watson from something I delve in and I play around with for a little bit to really making it part of your business to address some things like the examples given here. All right, so I've said enough for now. I think seeing is believing, and Bob's going to help us and walk us through a demo now, Bob.
Great, thanks Ian. I'm just going to show my screen here and we'll get rolling.
Again, just a reminder to everybody, while Bob's getting set up there, please do put in any questions you have. We're looking forward to any kind of interactive discussion to help you understand things as you go through. And no doubt, the more you see, the more questions you'll have. So just a reminder to put those questions into the chat window.
Great. So here we're looking at the Watson Analytics main screen here. Once you have an account, this is what you'll log in to see. I want to give a little bit of context what I'll show today. So imagine that we're an analyst at I'm an analyst at a car insurance company, and all I've been given today is just a file with some customer information. And the problem we have is we want to maximize our customer lifetime value to make sure we're improving our profitability. And we also want to make sure that we're spending every dollar in the right place. So today we're going to focus on marketing. So questions may come up, well, what drives customer lifetime value? What attributes are important to that? And how can we help marketing design their marketing campaigns to identify the most profitable customer groups and customer types? So let's take a look at the data we start with. So this is just an Excel file. It's got different columns for our different attributes, and we can kind of see we've got customer lifetime value as a column, and we know what type of coverage folks have, some of their education, demographic, standard demographic information, a little bit of operations information as well. How many claims they've filed, any complaints they've made, and it's a quite kind of wide file. But we have 50 columns here, and it's 8,000 rows. So it's actually not a large data set. So keep in mind, in the context of Watson and big data, this is still pretty small. If we connect, when you connect this kind of a tool into your existing systems, you can be dealing with millions of rows that feed into this thing. So this is just a small set for us to work with. Now, so in this main screen here, when you first log in, you can come in and they make it quite easy to add data in. You just click on your add button. You can drop in a file here. Once you've added that file, you'll see it show up on your personal piece here. So here's a file I've loaded from before, the customer lifetime value. So this is just the same Excel file I just showed you. Just uploaded it into here, and it gives me a quality score right out after I uploaded this. So 67 is medium quality. As you can imagine, there's things we can do to improve that, and there's tools in here to refine the data to make it more clear. But I'm in a rush right now. I just want to make sure I get this stuff done quickly. So I'm going to go off and I'll make my prediction. So by clicking on my data set here, I get a list of options I can work with. Here I'm going to just click on predict. So it's going to walk me through a process of creating a new prediction. So my customer lifetime value prediction for demo. And it's smart enough to go and pick different columns that it suggests I may want to predict. Pardon me, it chooses the columns that I may want to predict. So it's come up with a net promoter score and customer lifetime value. Now, I can also select any other column that was in that file. So it's identified all the different data types that are there. It's got the column name, so I don't have to do any mapping or anything like that. It's all right here for me. So in this case, customer lifetime value is what I want to try and predict. So let's get rid of net promoter score. I'm going to create for my prediction. So as that's being created, so here's the prediction. So this is our customer lifetime value prediction. It gives me a prediction workspace. Now there's a couple things going on here, so we'll walk through them one at a time. The bullseye chart right in the middle. So some people call it a bullseye chart, some people call it a spiral diagram, but this gives us an idea of what could be the predictors of what what our target is. So here it's identified customer lifetime value as our target, and it's highlighted the top three. So here we've got, if I hover over this blue one, it says number of policies which is a field in this data set, is a predictor of customer lifetime value. So at a strength of 46.6%. So now this is interesting. That this is where the cognitive piece comes in. So you see the second part of this, below this little line here, it reads, but an even more interesting and accurate insight is the interaction between number of policies and vehicle class is a predictor of customer lifetime value with a predictive strength of 65%. So I may have known that, number of policies, if someone has more policies with us, they're going to make more money. We're going to make more money. That's somewhat obvious. But what I didn't know is that there's a relationship with the vehicle class. So maybe this could influence me to target folks with a particular vehicle class to improve my customer lifetime value. So this is still just at the interesting stage. What else can we learn here? So we'll look at the other ones as well, and you see these ones are a little bit further out. So this is saying vehicle class by itself is a predictor, but only with a strength of 13.3%. And then similarly, it does a little bit of a guided piece here, comes up with a new idea. That another insight is the interaction between number of policy, and this is telling us the other way, number of policies in vehicle class, gives us up to 65%. Now, this is only looking at one field. So it's difficult to find indicators that are very, just one indicator is going to fit your target. But that could be the possibility for a data set. So let's look at some other pieces we have to look at. On the right-hand side, there's a number of visualizations that help us see what these look like. And since we're only looking at one field, a bar chart's a natural visualization to you. So when I click on bar chart, I see, okay, so here, number of policies, if it's 1 to 2, If it's 1 to 2, then we've got about 17,500. If it's greater than 5, it's a little less. So it kind of shows us a sweet spot of about 1 to 2 policies. That gives us the highest average customer lifetime value. So we're still at the state, we're just kind of navigating through understanding our data. But let's take it one step deeper. Let's look at 2 fields. So 2 fields is going to say, what combinations are the most helpful? So now if I hover over the main one here, this is where that earlier insight is a little bit more clear. So the number of policies and vehicle class together are a predictor of customer lifetime value at 65%. And notice on the right-hand side, my visualization has changed. So I can still look at this. If I click on this visualization, before I was looking at a bar chart, now it's going to show me a heat map, which is really a combination of the two. And the nice thing about these visualizations is your eye can't help but go to the boldest spot. So right away, your eye is going to go to luxury SUV in the combination with number of policies of 1 to 2 policies. So rather than looking at a grid of numbers, what could be a very large grid of numbers, a heat map shows us very clearly where our sweet spot is. And one thing I think is very powerful in the Watson piece is not only does it have the predictive and cognitive capabilities to come up with these new ideas and new insights, but it's presenting them in a very visual way so that they're easy to see. And they're also easy to put a story around, which they've done a good job with too. So, we've looked at 1 field, we've looked at 2 fields. Let's look at the combination. Now, combination is going to say, let's look at all the data that we have across whatever input we got. What kind of predictions can we come up with? So again, we've got our top three highlighted. And look at this. Now this one's actually gone up a bit. So a combination of multiple fields is a predictor of customer lifetime value of 66.6%. Now notice there's a lot more fields here involved. So we do get a more accurate prediction, but there's more data that we need to bring in to get to that level, which is understandable. So does that make it more complex? Not really. So again, we come back to the visualization. It's going to choose the right visualization for me to look at the data with. So here on the right-hand side, the visualization has changed again to show me a decision tree. So if I click on the visualization to see my decision tree, it's going to say the decision tree shows how customer lifetime value is significantly influenced by number of policies and 13 other inputs. I can change my sorting if I want, depending on what I'm looking for. It gives me some decision rules, which I'll go talk about in a moment. But I can start walking through this. This is a very active visualization. So maybe I want to look at, let's only look at the ones that are, have 1 to 2 policies. And maybe we only want to focus on the ones that have a maintenance cost of between 9.4 and 11.3. So we can start walking down this piece to really get a feel for what combination of factors is important. Now, we all want to streamline things, so the obvious question is, well, what's the best one? And that's given to us on these tabs on the left-hand side. So what are the top decision rules? So I just have to click on the top decision rules, and it's going to show me the top decision rules. So right away, the top customer lifetime value that I could get would be $27,650.94, and that's a combination of customers that have 1 to 2 policies, their maintenance cost is more than 11.3, and they have a collective policy. So that gives me something that's very concrete, something I can segment my marketing group to say, let's focus on prospects or customers that have this, have these criteria, because they're going to be we're going to make the highest customer lifetime value out of that segment. And maybe that's for whatever reason we don't, maybe we only want to target folks that don't have something with us, so we can find the right rule here that fits the criteria we're looking for. And then there's another way to look at this as well, is this predictor importance. So this predictor importance creates a word cloud, and word clouds are very handy for the story piece because the important inputs literally jump off the page at you. Looking at this image here, you can't help but see that number of policies is the most important input. You also see that maintenance cost and vehicle class are important, but number of policies is most important, and the other ones are important, but relatively not as much. So if we're just navigating through a file of data that we maybe know nothing about, which is the case right here, right away I can see number of policies as something that I need to make sure I'm including in any type of analysis that I do. So coming back to our predictive workspace here, we've looked at one field predictors, two field predictors, combinations. We've looked at the different visualizations that are here. And now let's talk a little bit about this ribbon along the top. So Watson is a very flexible tool in the sense you can really change whatever you need to change. So right now it's saying this target, we're creating a workbook that has one target, but I can change it. I can change it to any of the other items there that are in the file, and Watson will rebuild the model to try and predict this new target. The other part is our data quality. So we noticed that when we first imported the data quality was about 67, which is good, but not great. So it's given us some pieces here. It's identified 35 issues with the data that we could improve to improve our data quality, and through improving the data quality, the accuracy of our model. It also gives us some information here around the analysis that we're doing. So it says we had 48 inputs that were potentially useful, and we used 44 of them. So from an analysis perspective, it's useful data that we're looking at. And then the top field associations. So this tells us that in this case, there's 11 strong field associations were found between these fields. But let's look at this one in more detail. I click on View. Now, this is going to show me some relationships and patterns that Watson found within the data that I may have not known about before. So not only is it coming up with these new ideas, these new cognitive ideas of relationships or possibilities within the data, it's showing me visualizations to depict that with some kind of an image. So here, I see my monthly premium for auto and the maintenance cost is positively correlated. And each of these are really explore points where I can click on them and go into more detail, but I'll leave that for a moment here. And the customer lifetime value. So this model, we see the different pieces of it. We actually export this model to be used in other tools. So at this point, we've created our model. We've identified the number of policies and vehicle class or something that are very important. So let's start exploring with that a bit. So let's go back to the welcome page. Now what we were looking at before was the predict, and I think the predict is a very powerful piece, but we skipped over explore. So we're going to start with, we'll go back to that same data set we had, we'll just explore it for a bit. So it gives us a couple of interesting starting points of, from looking at the data, it's found some relationships and trends and things we can look at. But one thing I want to highlight now is the natural language piece, which I think is pretty cool. So if we go, if we are, so I can just go in here and I can, pardon me, I want to ask a question about my data. What is the breakdown of customer lifetime value? See, notice the predictive text. It's smart enough to identify columns in my data, and it'll automatically complete them for me. So if I'm looking for a concept, what is the breakdown of customer lifetime value and coverage? So I just type that in. Now the natural language engine within Watson tries to figure out what I meant by that, and in this case it did a pretty good job. It says this is very relevant to my question, and it's verbatim what I was looking for. So I just click on that tile, and now it's going to open up a dashboard tuned already to my question. So here's literally the breakdown of customer lifetime value by coverage. I haven't had to build any haven't had to do any mapping, haven't really had to do anything. I just asked a natural language question of the data, and this is what was presented to me. And within the tool, I can still tailor this to kind of tell the story or present it in the way that I want. So it's showing me a heat map right now, but the 3 pieces of a heat map is not all that interesting. Maybe I want to change that to a pie chart. So I just select pie chart. Here we're looking at the customer lifetime value. It's giving me these numbers here. I have some options. So maybe I want to display the percentage. I could do that. I'll leave it as a number for now. Now what I could also do is I can also look at maybe I want to see, well, am I looking at a sum or am I looking at an average? Or do I want counts? Do I want something else? So all of that's very flexible here. I just find my customer lifetime value. I have all my fields listed along the bottom here, so I can pick and choose whichever ones I want, and I can get quite detailed and say, here I'm looking at, for customer lifetime value, I'm looking at the number that's an average. Maybe I want to look at that as a sum. See how quickly that changes behind me there. I can put it back to an average. Everything's changing dynamically. So now I've created something that could be quite useful for a presentation. So I want to just pin it. So you'll see these pin icons throughout the tool. I just click pin, and then now if I look at my pins, I see the customer lifetime value one that's right there. Now along the top, this top ribbon here gives me other insights and visualizations that I may want to look into. And here we've got it top by vehicle class. So I can click on this one, and it's going to show me this visualization. I can create it in a new page. So by creating this in a new page, I've got 2 visualizations that are readily accessible. I can pin these ones here, and still these are all very flexible. I can change them as I need to, but I can also put them together into dashboards. So let's put together a quick dashboard with some time that we have here, just to show you what that looks like. So go back to my main page here, same data set. Now I'm going to assemble something. So I'm going to assemble a simple dashboard with 2 pieces. So I'm going to look at my pins. I'm going to take one, put one on the top, and I'll put one on the bottom. So this is all drag and drop, move things around, customize them as you see fit. You can do filtering, you can do whatever you need to do, you can resize things. It's a very flexible environment. So I'll just move this up a bit, resize it, and then this icon here on the top left tells me I'm in an edit mode right now. I just click on that, and I'm looking at it just as a dashboard. So I can send this to someone as a PDF or different options, but very quickly I've been able to take my visualization, put it into something that I can send to someone, and this can be outside the tool, like as a PDF, or it could be inside the tool. So I hope this has been helpful. Just to recap, what we've done is we've logged into Watson Analytics, we've created a prediction. We've been able to see that number of policies and our vehicle class are 2 of the most important predictors of our customer lifetime value. We've been able to explore the data sets that we loaded and create visualizations that we want to use in a dashboard. And what we didn't get a time to show, and we might show in a future webinar, is how to refine your data to improve data quality and how to assemble more complicated dashboards. But there's a lot you can do with just data. That's all we started with. So Ian, I think I'll pass it back to you unless you have any question. Anyone there has any questions?
Okay, that's excellent, Bob. Thanks very much. Walking us through that. There's so many things to the Watson Analytics experience. It's hard to even begin to scratch the surface, but hopefully everybody on the call got a bit of a flavor of what it can do for you. So we're just kind of watching our time that's left here now, and I hope everyone can see my screen okay. So really, in summary with the Watson Analytics, it's a single analytic experience. It's a fully integrated solution for business intelligence, leveraging that natural language, and will help guide you in discovery. So, you know, if you're like me, when I first saw it, it's like, can't wait to get my hands on this thing, a great thing to use and to play with. And so that's one of the first things we want you to do, is to be able to get in there and start to use it. Now I have one little poll here first, because depending upon what you're using and what you have your license for right now will determine a little bit about what access you have to Watson. So Susan, if you could open up the poll, and please just answer here, pick all that apply. Are you currently using / licensed for any of these Cognos products? TM1, Cognos BI in its various licensing implementations, Cognos Express, Cognos Disclosure Management. And so if you could take a minute and just answer that poll, that would be great. And we'll give you another 15 seconds there to just kind of think about what you want to answer. Just another few seconds for anybody that hasn't been able to answer yet. Okay, that's great. Susan, if you want to close that up. So quite a few of you on the call, well, it's kind of across the board there, have access to a number of the Cognos products. And the reason why that's important is access to the new IBM licensing. So for Watson Analytics right now, anybody can go online and can sign up for the free individual personal license. It's a trimmed down personal license that is free, and you can log in through the Watson Analytics website, and you can sign up for Watson Analytics and start to work with it. You have, as you can see here on the screen, you have half a gig of storage that you could begin to work with just yourself, but the data that you can put up is limited in the number of rows and data that you can work with, and then a number of other limitations. IBM, you'll see then there's a personal edition that you can sign up for that's $30 a month per user, and then a professional user edition that's $80 a month per user. The difference is being able to interact with other people with Watson, and primarily around, beyond the collaboration, it's really around your connection to your data. So if you have Cognos, you can connect Watson to certain Cognos report data sets, pull that in and leverage that as the way you're going to mine your data. You also have access to some of the other database sources. And in addition, under the professional edition, you can actually get a feed of a Twitter feed, and you can mine information on tweets related to your business, etc. There's a number of different things you can do. The exciting thing is this professional edition for current IBM clients who have some of the Cognos products we just mentioned that you just answered. If you're up to date on maintenance and you sign up before June 25th, then you can get the professional license for 12 months for 75 users at no charge for free. And this is the exciting thing as we think about our current client base and you guys that are on the call today. We can get you into this professional edition for up to 75 users at no charge for 12 months and start to use it. And that's kind of brought the urgency to what this is. To sign up for this, there's a couple of different ways. On the website, you can sign up for that individual free edition, but to sign up for the professional edition, you need a special link. And if you were down at Vision, you would have seen this down at Vision, and or you can call or contact IBM through that phone number and IBM, and we're, of course, as IBM partners, ready to help you get signed up and get engaged with this. For the free version of Professional, you have to do it before June 25th, and you'll see here as a screen capture. And so please contact me afterwards, and I'm happy to give you this link so you can sign up. Now, as soon as we saw this, you can sign up, you'll have a great time playing around, but there's tremendous value in this solution, and we want to help our clients get real value out of this. So if you think about what that would be for 75 users times $80 per month times 12 months, that's $72,000 worth of value that you're getting for free in IBM Watson. But it will all be for naught if you don't use it to pull in real business information, identify real business challenges, and then ultimately bring the insights back to the business for better business decisions. That's where we can come in as Clear Insight with expertise with Watson, expertise in business analytics. And so we've put together this Kickstart promotion for Watson. And so we will come in and connect with your business users, and in 2 weeks or less, we believe that we can come in, sit down with you, understand your key business drivers and issues, help to define the right data sets that are required to address those business issues, determine how that data sets are best loaded, coming directly from your Cognos environment or from other ways, and then working through the Watson Analytics screens with you to derive those insights. And so that's something that we're prepared to do as a Kickstart package for $15,000, which is chump change relative to you taking advantage of this. Once we're in there and we help you do this, once you've then got 12 months at no charge of being able to use Watson on an ongoing basis. And back to our little diagram here, for whatever department it is you have in your organization that can leverage these insights, we can help you do that. And the challenge and the problem is, if you're like many others that we know, you can sign up, you can play around and don't get real value out of it. And so we would love you to reach out to us and contact us, and we can help turn that slick, interesting opportunity into something that drives real business value for you. Online, there's a number of YouTube videos as well that can illustrate Watson further from what we've talked about today, and we're happy to share those with you. And so we are coming up to the top of the hour shortly, so I want to leave some time for questions if there's any questions. But please do reach out to us, and if I can provide any more insight about Watson in general, help with the Watson registration pages to get you signed up so that you can get access to that package, and then of course to the Kickstart package. I'm happy to discuss that with you and see where we might be able to help you get real value from this really once-in-a-lifetime offer that IBM is doing with Watson Analytics. So thank you very much for that, and I'll just turn it over. Susan, is there any questions that have come up, or anybody that wants to raise a hand or put a question in now?
Hi, Ian. At this point, no, I don't see any questions, but did you mention to everybody that they can download the IBM Watson Analytics brochure? That we have put it up here?
Excellent. Thank you so much for that reminder. If you look under your handouts section within your GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar panel there, you'll see I put up an IBM Watson Analytics brochure PDF. And so I will leave this screen up for a minute and leave that up. Just click on that and you can download the that brochure from the screen there so that you can get a little more insight on Watson and some more information about the Kickstart promotion. And that's under the handout section on the GoToMeeting panel. And so with that, I say thank you very much for your time today and being with us, and look forward to being of any assistance we can provide you directly going forward. So thank you very much. I'll leave this up for another minute and let you download that brochure, and wish you all the best going forward. Thank you.